Beach volleyball with some historic wins this year.
Oh, under first Matt Bosford, who does such a great job with our indoor team, and his assistant then was Chris Sweat. Now Chris has taken on over the last 2 years the program. And played ironically, amidst so many other teams playing fewer matches than they ever had, we played the most matches ever in beach volleyball. When you're outdoors and it was later in the season, you got to play. And Chris played a terrific schedule. We knocked off two, I believe, top 15 teams in Stetson and FAU during the course of the year. Lost a really heartbreaking match in the semifinals of the conference tournament to UNF, and then UNF wound up upsetting Stetson. But we had Kayla Whetstone and Casey Johnson were named first team all conference. Kayla was someone who set the school record for match wins, and again, overall continue to build a program that's less than 10 years old.
Mentioned golf. All right, not only some individual achievements, which we'll get to in a moment, but I believe you had one program with the highest ever finish.
Yeah, basically, Coach Andrew Dana came into our program 2 years ago, and with one recruiting class, just turned everything around. 7 individuals joined the current players, and we had a great finish at the end to tie for. I think one other time many years ago we tied for second, and this year we were in second, and that's with UNF being one of the top teams in the country, and Liberty. I think both Liberty and UNF were both ranked in the top 20 when we played the conference tournament, and Kennesaw has always been strong. So when you look at it top to bottom, amongst a lot of strong sports in the ASUN, men's golf may be the strongest that we have. And so what we did as a team, and then for Van Holmgren to come in the last 2 holes and birdie 17, and then I think it was a 488 par 4 that he finished with a birdie to win. And the gentleman that he beat, the freshman from UNF, was ranked I think number 2 in the country at the time. So that earned him a placement into the NCAA tournament. We really thought, you go back to your point earlier about being on the bubble, that we had a chance to make it as an at-large team. We were ranked 64th. Somehow they took 65 and 66 over us, but nonetheless a great season.
And with tennis, some more heartbreak. All right.
Well, first with women's golf, we also had success at women's golf. We finished third, unfortunately, behind a really strong Kennesaw team who never got to play because they were part of the Baton Rouge Regional. They got canceled for whatever reason, and a strong UNF team. But
the course was playable. It just wasn't championship level playable.
Yeah, and I would think the kids who were playing in the championship could have determined that. But Sarah Edwards made first team all conference. So we had a really good team a year ago, and we're really looking forward to the opportunity to go to the NCAAs for the first time when COVID came. And this year we just ran into a buzzsaw in Kennesaw who would really, it's disappointing they didn't get a chance to play, and UNF had an individual make it to the last grouping at the NCAA. So I just didn't want to forget women's golf.
Now on to tennis. Men's tennis had a big win this year.
Yeah, amongst other big wins in the year, certainly the number 34 Miami Hurricanes beating them over in Coral Gables was one of the bigger ones. So, what our team continues to do, we play a quality schedule, and it's the hard part is when you play those teams and you beat them, they don't want to play again. So I don't think we're on their schedule this year. But it was a great win. CJ and the guys used that as tremendous confidence, and as the season progressed, it helped lead us to get into the championship match again.
And won the division. Also,
yes.
Another FGCU team that was division champs, and which, a couple of fascinating stories with both teams, and one team that just missed out on the tournament and then was going to the tournament and then didn't participate in the tournament. It kind of encapsulated the entire COVID year.
Yeah, and we unfortunately had heard a couple different teams, I think VCU in men's basketball, Michigan or Minnesota in men's hockey, that had gone through getting the opportunity, and they tested positive. And we were good until we got to Columbia, South Carolina, and then unfortunately we tested positive. And CJ and our men's tennis team continued their success. They won the South Division, lost to a very strong Liberty team in the championship. And the excitement not only was making the tournament when unfortunately Liberty first had COVID, it was we were going to play a neutral site team. We'd been there 3 other times. At UCLA, I think they were like 10th ranked, and twice at UF, they were 3rd and 15th in the country. Now we were going to play NC State, a neutral site opponent, and basically on the way we had played during the year, there was a lot of confidence we could win, and we never got the chance to play.
But both the men and women ended up finishing runner-up this year in the ASUN.
Yes, the Courtney's ladies, who've had a great run themselves over the last several years, finished second in the two North Florida, who eventually won the championship against us. But we knocked off the North champion Liberty in the semifinals, and had a great match. I think we wound up losing 4-2, but it was right to the end. We had a rain delay. We had to come back out of it. Had a chance to possibly win the last two matches and win 4-3. But and then UNF turned around and beat Ole Miss in the first round of the NCAA. So that's how good they were, and the majority of that team's coming back next year.
Baseball and softball both end up finishing first in what was reconfigured divisions this year. I believe everything was north-south. I don't believe it was east-west. And FGCU baseball and softball both finished first.
Yeah, it was to save resources and to avoid being in airports. We did go to just playing within reason the other three schools in Florida, Stetson, UNF, and JU, multiple series, and that's not easy. There are always strong teams to begin with. And Dee Dee and the softball team wound up winning the South, I believe, by 6 games. We were like 15-3, took care of their first round quarterfinal, and then went up and lost to a really good Kennesaw host team the first game, and then a heartbreaker in extra innings to JU to be eliminated, but had a great year. Reedy Davenport was voted the ASUN Defensive Player of the Year besides first team all-conference, and again, play a great schedule. They knocked off number 21 UCF during the course of the year, and hopefully next year we'll continue to get back to the NCAAs.
Well, and the baseball team had, I believe, double-digit wins against NCAA tournament teams this year, a remarkable 6-0 against USF. Also beat Florida State in Tallahassee, and ended up losing ultimately to the team that won the ASUN tournament.
Yeah, it's baseball pitching is such a big deal, and again, everybody within the course of our league, not only tough, as I mentioned, within the division, but when you're in Florida and it's such a strong league state for baseball, you know, your non-conference games. We didn't play teams from up north like they normally come down, and we get a chance to play more home games. You know, we were playing the 3 games we normally against Miami, the 2 against FSU, the 6 against USF you talked about. We played Kansas 4 games. It just was a gauntlet throughout the season, and our strength of schedule was considerable. And it just, at the end, we lost that heartbreaker on the first night against Jacksonville. Mason Studstill, who again was all conference, had a 1-0 lead going into the 9th inning, and they found a seeing eye base hit and a bunt there, and next thing you know, we lose Friday, we come back and win Saturday, and then everything, the baseball guys weren't with us on Sunday, but JU turned around, didn't lose the rest of the tournament. They wound up beating a top 30 Liberty team that got an at-large bid, and they beat crosstown rival UNF, and they finished 5-1 over 2 weekends, and everybody looked at them as a team that wasn't going to win. And
Dave Tillett, on not one but 2 occasions, got on the phone and scheduled games that were not on the schedule, scheduled top 30 Wright State in a neutral site in a series, and then on the way home from a series said, hey, can we jam in a couple games in Tallahassee against Florida State? Yeah. And split them. So Toe was doing everything possible to get games on the schedule and also get quality games on the schedule to hopefully, if you were in a bubble situation, which you were until the ASUN tournament, to get in.